15-year-old Hope Mills, North Carolina resident Danielle Nicole Locklear was a popular freshman at Southview High School. She loved going to school and spending time with her family and friends. One night, Danielle Locklear left for a friend's home and never came back. After an exhaustive investigation, the truth about what happened to Danielle would be revealed, and the person responsible for her disappearance would be someone nobody expected. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more stories. The date was March 11, 2014. It's Tuesday. Danielle Locklear, 15, relocated to Hope Mills, North Carolina, 2 hours from her home in Myrtle Beach, to stay with her grandparents and aunt while she went to school there. She had enjoyed spending the summer of 2013 at her grandparents' home, so much that she requested permission to stay there throughout the school year. Danielle, a freshman, decided to remain with her grandparents, in part because of the friends she met while attending summer camp and because of her boyfriend. J. Michael Malloy, Danielle's boyfriend, was a senior in high school and, at 17, he was a little older than her. They first connected while serving as volunteers at a juvenile facility in Autryville. As members of the same church, Danielle's family was acquainted with J. Michael's family. He seemed to be a pleasant young man, and while around them, he was calm and courteous. After church one day, they observed that there appeared to be tension between them. Soon after, their relationship ended, but they later reconciled. They would split up and then reconnect multiple times. Danielle seldom discussed her relationships with her family. At around 10 p.m. on March 11, Danielle asked her granddad if she might deliver some schoolwork to a nearby neighbor. After accepting, he urged her to go quickly. He was playing video games at the time and was unaware of the time. That evening, Danielle didn't come back home, and when her grandma attempted to contact her on her phone, Danielle did not pick up. Danielle's grandpa informed her Aunt Gina Papa the following day that she had left the house the previous evening and still hadn't come home. She called Rhona Fowler, Danielle's mother. Her sister phoned her when she was at Myrtle Beach to let her know that they were unable to locate Danielle. Later that day, the family filed a missing person report for Danielle. Since Danielle appeared happy and enjoyed life in Hope Mills, her family did not think she ran away. They started looking for her, creating Facebook groups to alert others of her disappearance. J. Michael informed Gina that he hadn't seen her in days when she phoned him. They had split up a few days earlier, he said to Gina. But he volunteered to assist in the search for her. He offered locations where she may be. When Danielle's aunt discovered a sock with the word help scribbled in mud near a stream the day after she vanished, investigators began to suspect that Danielle may have been abducted for reasons other than just running away. Teenagers from the neighborhood would often gather near the stream. J. Michael was questioned by police. On March 11, he claimed not to have seen Danielle and claimed to have been at home studying. He was at home, according to his family and a friend. Police verified that his phone was at home that night after checking his mobile phone records. J. Michael reported to the police that Danielle had attempted to kill herself twice and was sad.
In school.
Right.
Okay.
So I was like,
She do that a lot?
she didn't go to fourth period a lot. She didn't like fourth period because she got picked on because of her clothes and stuff, yeah, I believe.
Was she like dressed different or something?
She dressed normal to me, but she didn't have the best of clothes. Like,
No, I mean,
yeah, you can afford what you can afford. Coaching that she told me she tried to kill herself twice. I told her that
why?
just because she didn't want to be here anymore.
You look me straight in the eye and tell me you didn't have anything to do with her disappearance.
I'll look you straight in the eye and tell you it had nothing to do with her disappearance.
Danielle's mobile phone records were examined by police. Her phone received a pinged signal from a tower near the highway on March 11 around 10:40 p.m. That caused them to concentrate on a certain region. On April 2, 23 days after Danielle was reported missing, a detective from the Montgomery Sheriff's Department was driving home over the bridge when he saw something near the stream at South River. He had no idea what it was, but it bothered him enough that he parked his vehicle and looked into it.
Is there a deputy that's close by with a pair of binoculars so I can make sure there's not a body in the water? It could be a prank. There's no telling.
He hurried to the stream, and when he got there, he saw Danielle's remains floating in the murky water. Nylon rope fastened to cinder blocks was used to bind her body. Her waist and ankles were bound with cinder blocks. Asphyxiation was the cause of death according to the autopsy. A sock was discovered by the medical examiner deep within Danielle's mouth. The sock matched the one Danielle's aunt discovered down by the stream a day after Danielle was reported missing. A search warrant was obtained by the police for J. Michael's home. Police did not think that the fact that he resided barely 1 mile from the scene of Danielle's death was a coincidence. However, a lot of people thought J. Michael wasn't connected to the crime. He had a good relationship with the community. Because of his calm demeanor, he was labeled as an introvert by some, yet he had a life plan and appeared to have everything under control. He was putting a lot of effort into getting into the Marines. He also had an alibi for the night Danielle disappeared. When authorities searched J. Michael's property, he showed no signs of being nervous or uneasy. A yellow rope was discovered that matched the one used to bind Danielle. They discovered cinder blocks inside the garage. That discovery was important because the cinder blocks attached to Danielle had a peculiar appearance. They were covered in pebbles, and they looked exactly like the cinder blocks discovered in J. Michael's garage. It wasn't the only important discovery, though. In close proximity to J. Michael's residence, police discovered Danielle's smartphone on a roadway. In addition, they received a voicemail on J. Michael's cell phone that changed their perception of him from the introvert they had previously portrayed. J. Michael had left a message on Danielle's phone. "If you come around me, I will kill you," he said. At the station, the police talked with J. Michael. He denied being involved in Danielle's death when he was questioned whether he was allowed to leave. They re-examined his alibi, and more interrogation showed that only his buddy Dominic Taven Long had really seen him at home that evening. A call was made to the police 4 days later. J. Michael wanted to confess to Danielle's murder. He admitted to authorities that on the evening of March 11, he and his friend Dominic left the home and proceeded to Danielle's residence. To grab her attention, he tossed his wallet against the window. They three walked to the creek. He said they had a long conversation. Danielle informed him she was pregnant, even though it was later discovered she wasn't. J. Michael claimed to have informed Danielle that if she became pregnant, he would support the baby, but not pursue a relationship with her. J. Michael wanted Danielle to take a pregnancy test in front of him. According to police, when Danielle refused to take the pregnancy test in front of her ex-boyfriend, Danielle allegedly lost her cool and struck J. Michael after that, which led to an argument. Malloy snapped, and when Danielle turned to leave, J. Michael got up behind her and strangled her to death. He had her in his arms and was strangling her when she passed out. "We were fighting. And next thing I knew, she wasn't breathing. And I freaked out," he stated. When Danielle wasn't breathing, according to J. Michael, he begged Dominic, who was standing around 70 yards away, for assistance. Dominic assisted, and the two of them took Danielle to the vehicle and placed her dead body into the trunk. Dominic, according to J. Michael's account to the police, was the one who put Danielle's sock in her mouth while she was making noise. Dominic acknowledged his presence when questioned by police. He said J. Michael approached him and told that Danielle had passed away. Dominic then claimed to be in shock and questioned J. Michael as to what he was talking about. Dominic rushed behind J. Michael as he turned to go back toward Danielle. She was lying on her stomach when he noticed her on the ground. Dominic told police that J. Michael requested him to assist him in handling Danielle's remains. He needed to dispose of the body since J. Michael said that they would both be accused of murder. Dominic admitted to the police that he assisted J. Michael in carrying Danielle's body over the creek bed and into the trunk of his vehicle. According to J. Michael, he threw her in the car, went back home. "That's when I got the cinder blocks and the rope, tied her up, and put her in the river." Both of them were charged of second-degree murder.
Good evening, I'm Sharon Taswell.
And I'm Sean Roney. Thanks for joining us. Heartbreak and anger inside a Cumberland County courtroom today as a teenager pleaded guilty in the death of his ex-girlfriend.
9-year-old Jamichael Malloy pleaded guilty in the death of his ex-girlfriend Danielle Locklear. CBS North Carolina's David Hurst was there and joins us live with the emotional story. David.
Yeah, Sharon, a lot of anger, a lot of tears as this family was going through this guilty plea. They say it's been a long 2 years of waiting and suffering, but they say this guilty plea may be the thing that will finally help them begin to heal. For 2 years, the family of Danielle Locklear has waged a fight for justice, and now that chapter is coming to an end.
I can't watch my baby get her high school diploma. I cannot watch her get married. That's the only one I can't even have any more children, Jamichael. And you took that away from me. You ripped out my soul.
Police say the 19-year-old confessed to strangling Locklear during an argument. They say he and a friend tied cinder blocks around her body and dumped her into the South River. Danielle's body was found a month later.
I know there's nothing I can do there where I can say going to bring her back. I do want to apologize for the actions that I made. Sorry I wasn't good, but I do want to say I'm truly sorry.
Malloy pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of second-degree murder and will spend a minimum of 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Every day for the next 25 years, or however long you have, when you close your eyes, you will see Danielle taking her last breath.
And while the guilty plea may help heal, many family members say they're not quite ready to accept his apology.
It did mean something, but I'm sorry. He's still breathing. My daughter's in the grave, so that's the way I look at it.
Dominic pled guilty to accessory after the fact for his role in the murder of Danielle and was then sentenced by the judge.
It was an emotional day in court as a judge sentenced a Fayetteville man to 6 years in prison for his role in a teen's murder. 15-year-old Danielle Locklear was killed in March of 2014. Her ex-boyfriend, Jamichael Malloy, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in April and was sentenced to a minimum of 25 years in prison. Here's CBS North Carolina reporter Nate Rogers.
As long as I'm breathing and my baby's not here, it'll never be enough time.
A grieving mother looking for justice today in court. But Dominic Locke's attorney insists he tried to rectify his wrongs. Prosecutors and defense attorneys agree the murder was premeditated by Jamichael Malloy and that Locke had no idea what his friend was up to. In court, Bernard Conlon demonstrated how Malloy showed no remorse in previous hearings.
Yo, she went to go see her aunt. She's crazy like that.
In March of 2014, police say Malloy strangled Locklear at a creek near Hope Mills. Locke had driven the group to the creek, but was sitting in the car at the time. Prosecutors say Locke helped Malloy tie cinder blocks to Locklear's body and toss it into the South River at the Cumberland-Sampson line.
And I couldn't even have an open casket because of what y'all did. I went to the funeral home, they pulled my child out of the freezer, and I had to look at her in a plastic bag. Because I wouldn't even open it.
Before sentencing, Locke apologized to Locklear's family for his role in the murder. Judge Jim Ammon said Locke should have done more to help.
I know for a fact that this family didn't know where she was for 22 days, and you did.
Locke was sentenced to a minimum of 6 years by pleading guilty to accessory after the fact. Now that both men have been sentenced, Locklear's family says they'll rely on faith and great memories to heal.
Danielle was a beautiful bright light that was taken way too soon. My condolences to her friends and family. May you continue to heal from this unimaginable tragedy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.